I do want to address one thing that happened that's very relevant to the sports card world. Shohei Ohtani tore his UCL yesterday. What's interesting to me about this is that he tore his UCL as a pitcher in game one, and he had hit a home run. Game one of a doubleheader against the Cincinnati Reds. So, I mean, what a showdown. An NL showdown where you've got Ohtani. Mike Trout was not in the lineup, but, still an exciting Angels team, especially with Ohtani. And then on the other side of the diamond, you had Ellie De La Cruz, Christian Encarnacion Strand. Both of those guys have been back on fire. And Ohtani homers in game one. He's pitching, tears his UCL. People start freaking out, of course. But then, guys, he plays in game two with the torn UCL, and he goes 1 for 5. Dude's hitting 304. He's got 44 home runs. I know that this is a big injury, actually, because he tore his UCL the year that he ended up having Tommy John surgery at the end of that season. But Lefty McKee has something to say about the Ohtani injury, so we're gonna hand things over to Lefty McKee real quick before we get into the submissions. Lefty, what do you have to say about this UCL injury for Shohei?
Wow, huge for the hobby. This Shohei news is electric. We had one of the wildest off seasons potentially coming our way with Shohei Ohtani, and now he's torn his UCL again. So he's going to have Tommy John surgery again. Something that could have been the wildest and most extreme free agency class of all time is now also going to be even more increasingly weird with a pitcher that is probably going to need season-long surgery. There's going to be questions about if he can pull a Bryce Harper or if he can pull what Shohei did last time and just hit next season. And can he focus on that? Plus, does he ever pitch again? I think there's so many interesting nuances to this Shohei situation, especially with him being a rental last year and what you could have gotten, what the Angels could have gotten. Now that looks like a foregone conclusion that it was the wrong call. Even though they took their chance, I still believe it was the wrong call in the long term. But for Shohei cards, what do we do? I think one of the important things here is Shohei probably was a long-term hold potential anyway. I think he's still going to go down as one of the greatest of all time. We don't see Griffey hampered by being one of the greatest of all time in the hobby, and even he had a lot of injuries in his career as well. Now, we will take a little bit of a hit in the pitching market, I believe, because he can't make extreme money to basically be both players in the free agency market this year. So I think that does affect his card value. But I think this is now an opportunity. If we see even a 10 to 15% drop in Shohei over the next couple of weeks, I think it would be a great time to get back in on Shohei because he's still going to be the hitter, and the hitter is driving the market here in the sports card market. So I still would buy into Shohei over this offseason. We hope that you guys got rid of Shohei in the spike in July in some of the speculation. I, for one, also moved Shohei in July around the trade deadline. But if you were holding for this offseason, I would expect you to hold through the offseason until he becomes that hitter that we know he's going to be. And he's probably going to hit next season no matter what. So look for Shohei Ohtani to have more news as we go through the offseason. But I just wanted to make a short clip to address the Shohei situation currently.
Mad props to Lefty McKee for coming in strong with an additional video for us today. Very timely with the Shohei news. Thank you, Lefty. Really appreciate that. He's hitting. I mean, he's day to day as a designated hitter in LA right now. I mean, I don't want to trivialize the injury. I mean, I think it's significant, of course. It seems like he might have to have another Tommy John surgery, which is not trivial. Anytime you go under the knife or under the scope or however they do that procedure these days, I don't know. It's still very, very important and risky, of course. However, he did hit in game 2 after the injury in game 1. So I think that I think that he's day to day as a designated hitter for the rest of this season. That's what we know. Will he ever pitch again? Who knows? Does it matter if he pitches again in terms of the man, the myth, the legend that is Shohei Ohtani? Maybe not as much as we think. I mean, he's been a dominant pitcher. I mean, I think obviously he's only 29 years old. There's still a good chance that he will pitch again one day. And but I mean, if he's hitting between 40 and 50 home runs a season, to Lefty's point, it may not negatively affect his card value that much. So very, very interesting week for baseball. We had the Wander situation. Shoes is referencing the Wander situation. Not at all like the Wander situation, by the way, Shoes. I know that was a joke. But it is interesting. Couple weeks of baseball with Wander kind of going down for off the field reasons, and Shohei going down for on the field reasons. Although we hope to say that we hope to see rather that he will hit for the remainder of the season. Craig's Cards 11 says buy the dip. I happen to think that Shohei is still a safe buy. You know, it's dangerous to overpay, but I think if you're bidding in auctions, that you're not overpaying. I think